It is no secret at this point that Mega Forms are coming back as we head to Kalos and Lumiose City in Pokemon Legends ZA. It is also assumed at this point that we will be getting new Mega Form Pokemon, but which ones are actually possible? Hey guys, I'm Rob, this is the Game House, and we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 Pokemon that we believe should get a Mega Form in Pokemon Legends ZA. But before we dive in, I'm going to ask that you like this video, if you end up enjoying it of course, and that you subscribe so that you are not missing out on any of the daily Pokemon content that we have coming out. Also, comment below with the Pokemon that you believe should get a Mega Form, and also what you think that our predictions are going to be on this list. But with that out of the way, as always, we're going to start things with a little history. Mega Forms were introduced with Pokemon X and Y as its gimmick back in 2013. There were 30 forms and 28 Pokemon that were given these Mega Evolutions. Then, a year later, with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, 18 more Pokemon were added, taking the total to 46 Pokemon with Mega Forms and 2 Charizard and Mewtwo with 2 apiece. When looking at them by generation and keeping in mind that this was Gen 6 at the time, we've added 3 more generations since then that could be added as future Mega Pokemon. But when looking back, they were split up by generations like this. Gen 1 had 13 Pokemon, Gen 2, 6 Pokemon, Gen 3, 20 Pokemon, Gen 4, 5 Pokemon, Gen 5, 1 Pokemon, and Gen 6, 1 Pokemon as well. These Mega Forms have remained extraordinarily popular, and fans have been clamoring for more for over a decade. There are certainly plenty of Pokemon from newer and older generations who would be great for this list, but we had to cut it down to just 10. Now that the history has been discussed, let's jump into number 10, and we're going to be starting off with Golurk. And for its size, typing, and just general design, it is shocking that this Pokemon feels so often forgotten about. It is prominently displayed in X and Y as a statue, and it looks like some sort of rock guard, like something that you would see in the Disney movie Atlantis. And it is time, once again, for Golurk to get some attention. A fun Mega Form that sees it keeping its typing but getting stat boosts and possibly even a new ability would be a great addition. And it could even look something more like the Stone Guardians we mentioned with its new design. Coming in at number 9, we have Tyrantrum. And like Aggron, this Pokemon could get a weakness either taken away or be given something that pairs with Dragon much better. It would take Tyrantrum from being an arguably bad Pokemon to a standout very quickly. Even if they just made it a single type Dragon Pokemon, it would instantly become better. It already looks like the king of the Jurassic, but they could make it look a little bit more like one of the new dinosaurs in Jurassic World. Even if it looked a little crazy, that would not be the worst thing. We also have the precedent with Aerodactyl that a fossil Pokemon can get a Mega Form, so we can only hope for that with Tyrantrum. Now at number 8 we have Florges, and you would not be wrong in saying that Florges may need to be higher on this list. Truthfully, it was tough, but the Pokemon above it are all very likely to get a Mega Form, and Florges may just be barely on the chopping block. With AZ, who had the special Floette, if you remember correctly, potentially being a major part of this game, it feels like Florges would get a Mega Form alongside him. Since this Pokemon is already a flower, it would go from Fairy to Fairy and Grass, and while we've seen the reverse in Grass and Fairy, it would make Florges the first Fairy Grass type, and surely they can make it look even more imposing and even more queen-like. At number 7 we have a favorite of so many people, Talonflame. And Talonflame is, again, already incredibly strong and viable, but you know what could make it even stronger? Giving it a Mega Form. And you know what else could make it even cooler? If it became Fire and Dragon. I don't know, these are just ideas, but regardless, it feels as though Talonflame will get a Mega Evolution. As one of the first route flying type Pokemon, Pidgeot, already got one, we have the precedent for this to happen. Add on to this the popularity of Talonflame, and it just makes sense to predict that it should and likely will get a Mega Form. Coming in at 4, 5, and 6 are Greninja, Delphox, and Chesnaught. Yes, we are bunching these all together, but they are going to take 3 spots. The reason? Well, because of the fact that Blaziken got into X and Y originally, but Swampert and Sceptile were added later. It was shocking that these 3 did not get Mega Forms the first time around, and there's absolutely no reason why they should not be added this time. Greninja, at an absolute minimum, has to be added. Not only is it a popular Pokemon for Pokemon fans, but it is so popular that it was added to Super Smash Bros., which gave it a whole group of new fans. And yes, we do not forget that it has the Ash form, but not giving it a Mega Form would just be a crime. So, if it gets one, then Delphox and Chesnaught need one as well. All of them can keep their typing, but going deeper into their preferred stats. Along with this, they would get the buffs of their design. Greninja could become even more ninjafied, that's a word, right? And Delphox could become even more of a mage, witch, or wizard, whatever it is, with the addition of a hat or something like that. And then lastly, Chesnaught could lean more into the knight portion, where he gets a shield on his arm and maybe even some kind of weapon. Either way, you need to make sure that these 3 look incredible and that they are added into Pokemon Legends ZA. We're in our top 3 now, and Aegislash is going to be there at number 3. Another iconic Pokemon from Gen 6. Considering Oros, it is probably important to mention that a lot of Pokemon getting Mega Forms will likely be from Gen 6, as they make up most of the Pokedex. Also, if they do Alpha Pokemon again, or Mega in place of those, they will probably need to use some Gen 6 Pokemon for those, and Aegislash only makes too much sense to be added. Imagine them adding a spear along with the swords, or even just having it be something like a samurai sword instead. There are so many incredible options for a Mega Evolution for this Pokemon that it's just too obvious and needs to be added. At number 2 is Flygon, and do I really need to explain this one? Okay, we finally are going to get the Mega Form that Flygon fans have been waiting for since the start of Megas. It needs just a bit of help, and having a Mega Form would do just that. Truthfully, any help it could get would be certainly welcome. Regardless, they could really accentuate the eyes and make its wings even bigger, and surely they would do something with the hair-looking tendrils on the top of its head as well. Either way, we trust the Pokemon Company to do Flygon right this time, and it works well that it is already in the Kalos Pokedex. Now we're going to have a quick special mention, multiple Pokemon that are not on this list. And we had to mention Sylveon, or potentially even all of the Eeveelutions, because while we believe that this is even less likely than just getting a new Eeveelution, it certainly could happen. Mainly because it is the year of Eeveelutions, or just Eevee again, according to the Pokemon Company, and that just does not feel like an accident. So keep it in mind and know that they could be added, but we didn't want to take up the entire list with just a bunch of Eeveelutions. The drum roll has started, and now we're going to be going into our number 1 spot with Zygarde. And this is probably one of the most obvious Pokemon that we could put here, but with Legends ZA, we expect that the first letter is going to get a lot of use. There were leaks of a Pokemon Z back when X and Y came out, and that never materialized, so Zygarde never got its time to shine. This time it will, and it would be shocking for it not to get a Mega Form. It is tough to imagine how they could make Zygarde in its complete form any better, but similar to Flygon, they could just keep the Dragon and Ground typing, but give it some better moves and stats. It would be wild to see them add another form like they did with Mewtwo, but it is not completely out of the possibility. So no matter what they do, this one should feel like it almost is guaranteed to happen. So get yourself ready for that reveal that should be coming sometime in the next few months. Well, that's our list. And what do you think of it? Were your predictions correct? Did we miss any obvious Pokemon? Make sure to let us know in the comments section below. But that will wrap it up for us on this Pokemon video. So from our house to yours, Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.